State totals, 189, 584. ERA 189, 198. Projected revenues 178, 500. Okay, moving down, income from departments, which include police, planning, zoning, boards. 1,953 was the revenue, 1,000 was the DRA authorized, and 1,000 is the projected budget.
This is where that police work comes in?
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
no. So this would be pistol permits. So the planning board, the zoning board would have a public hearing. The applicant is required to pay for the notices and all that, so that's where this money goes.
So if I want a gun,
If you want a pistol permit, that's where you would go to get a pistol permit.
It's not
You can
required
see
by
it,
law.
it's not required, we're a constitutional carry state.
well, why wouldn't the police, you mentioned when you went through the police budget,
So what happens,
special duty.
back in 2022, I think it was, we had a warrant article to establish a revolving account for the police department for,
Oh, so it goes directly to
that,
them.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
So that money can only be used for wages, equipment, you know, the cruisers and all that, so.
In the file.
All the money gets deposited in there, and then at the end of the year, we then bill that revolving account to reimburse us for the wage cost.
Thank you.
Okay. We move on to miscellaneous revenues. 3501 revenue was 84,101. The projected is $10,000. This line item, I had questioned Sean whether that $84,000 can be recognized this year, and you were going to get back to me.
Yep, that's the amount of money that we have received from the two landowners.
Great. Thank you for following up with that.
So Tom, this is the result of two properties that we did tax deed on. But then the property owners actually entered into a repurchase agreement and then paid us off. So they ended up keeping their property. We got all of our money back, interest fees, legal fees.
But you're not paid off, you still have.
We're not, we still have some money outstanding on one because they're on a payment plan. He's making his payments every month.
So that's the projected revenue, right?
Right.
This is-
That, and we're, like I said, hoping to cut some timber on some town lots.
Questions to that sale of municipal property?
So that $10,000 projected estimate is, what, that would pay that off?
Yeah, that's a result of, A, the final payments for one property that's outstanding. It's also, we also are in the process of trying to hire a forester so we can try to get some logging done on some of our town lots.
So there's more revenue than $10,000. It's more of an annual. So that revenue projection is probably low. Okay. Interest on investments, revenue was 43,922. The DRA approved was 30,000, and the projected is 35,000. That's a couple of good bank accounts.
Yeah, how come 43,922, but it's going to go down to 35?
So the lion's share of that revenue is from what's called a sweep account. So Franklin Savings Bank basically uses our cash that's on hand to make overnight loans. So we basically lose the money, it's guaranteed, it's not that we lose it, it moves to their balance sheet so that they can do something, then it comes back. But that's what generates all that interest.
So they're borrowing from 310.
And that's on the unexpended fund account.
On the operating.
No, so it's a revenue. Yeah, it's on the,
Interest,
it's,
interest.
yeah, well, it's not just the, it is,
No, in the checking account.
yeah, we just have one checking account, and that's all the money that's in there. So there's, you know, I think a couple of weeks ago, there's around $850,000.
I'd like a checking account.
Me too.
Okay. Any questions to that? Further questions to that? Okay, other transfer station fees, rebates, copies, 27,987. ERA authorized 12, projected is 19. Any questions on that? Okay. So those totals were 156.12, DRA approved was 42, projected is 64. Okay. Interfund operating transfers in, so this is the water department revenue. If you can pin this one down, seats open.
So this just represents, so you gotta remember, the only the users of the water system pay for the expense of the water system. But because in New Hampshire budgeting law, in order for the water department to operate, we have to appropriate money, and there has to be a revenue side to it. So because the appropriation and the revenues are always the same, the net impact of the tax rate is 0. So those numbers always have to be the same. That's the way DRA,
The 2584
That's-
additional revenue is the offset from the,
well, that's actually, so the selectman's office paid some, you know, we had to pay for something for the water department, and they had to reimburse us. So that's what that number is. It was, I believe it was for Judy's wages, her benefits, and then some supplies that they purchased off of using the town credit card.
okay. We're turning the page.
All right, so before we go, there's an addition that needs to be made to this that I discovered late this afternoon. So Lisa and I were going over the 737. So line 3915, we need to put $3,000 there. All right,
In
and
addition-
that's going to come from warrant article 5. So in order to pay for that warrant article, we're taking money out of the capital reserve account, so that shows up as a revenue. All right, and then if you go down to 3934, amounts voted from fund balance, we have to add 28,960. So that results from Article 3, where we're going to take $25,000 from the unreserved fund balance to help pay for the paving. And Article 8, where a logger did damage to Bunker Hill Road shortly after we paved it. And so he has paid us $3,900 to fix that. So that,
Where are you putting that? 39?
so that money is gonna go from the unreserved fund balance, and we're gonna put it in the road reconstruction capital reserve account, which we're agents to expend from, so we can actually get the work done and we just pay out of that.
What was the first number?
Line 3915, you need to add $3,000.
Which column, Sean?
Selectmen's 2025 estimated revenues.
2 or 3?
3.
That would be, I think,
And then under 3934, amounts voted from fund balance, that should be 28,960.
Yes. So, second page, account number 3915, 59,100 was the crushing and the painting of the town hall. Came from capital reserve funds. The area approved 55020 with no projected revenue on that line item. That works done, right?
No, so, yeah, so for the 25, you got the 3,000.
Oh, we put it, said 3930, so. Okay. Trust and fiduciary funds, 26,274. DR approved. Selectmen's estimates, 45,042.
So this is the transfer from the Ferrin Fund. So every year, we're allowed to spend 2/3 of the interest and income from the fund. We don't spend any of the appreciation and value of the principal. So we can only spend interest, dividends, and short-term